here for Daily Hope. We're in Luke chapter 11 today. Have you ever wondered what the difference is between an alive and a vibrant spirituality and a dead religiosity? In the chapter today, we're going to see that Jesus fully personifies the first, and the Pharisees who he rebukes personifies the second. One of my sons right now is learning the Bon Jovi song on the piano, Living on a Prayer. Whoa, living on a prayer. You know the song, those of you who endured the 80s. Now it's in your head all day, not just in mine. But Jesus lives the prayer of walking out daily in intimacy with God. But let's begin with the Pharisees so we can go backwards through the chapter and contrast it, and so we can end on a high note. Jesus rebukes the Pharisees. And he says, woe to you, Pharisees. You give a tenth of your mint, your rue, and your herbs. You tithe all these things. But you neglect justice and the love of God. In the parallel passage in Matthew 23, he says, you strain out a gnat and you swallow a camel. You neglect the weightier matters of the law. He goes on and he says, woe to you, Pharisees. You love the most important seats in the synagogues and the respected greetings in the marketplaces. You love the notoriety of it, the pretense of it. You love being known. He says, woe to you, he goes on. You're like unmarked graves that people walk on. The cultural image is that the people become unclean by just coming into contact with them. This religiosity they have, it's somehow contaminating. Those who were the teachers of the Pharisees, the kind of scribes of the fundamentalists, they say, hey, you're being offensive to us too, you know, Jesus. And he says, you guys, woe to you. You load people down with these burdens that they can't carry. You don't even lift a finger to help them. Woe to you, he says. You guys, you now say that you revere the prophets, but in fact it was you and your kind who killed them. And he ends with the last woe. He says, woe to you, you've taken away the key to knowledge. In the Matthew parallel, it says, you've slammed the door of heaven in people's faces. You have all this stuff on the outside, but you're missing the essence. You're missing the heart of it. You know, I went to the Australian equivalent of what here in America we call an Ivy League university. And often I've been so saddened by how really ultimately stupid, very, very smart people can be. So much knowledge, and yet they can't see the wood for the trees. Let me put it in perhaps a kinder way. Now here I am, and I am so much more impressed with kindness and grace and mercy than I am with intelligence and wit and knowledge. Not that those things are unimportant, but these things are so much more important. Let's look at Jesus by way of contrast. What is he like? We've only got time just to begin by looking at the first couple of verses of it. Jesus' disciples saw him praying, and throughout the book of Luke, they saw this unbelievable connection with God the Father that he had, and the power of the Spirit coursing through him. And they see him praying in a certain way and in a certain place, and they say, Jesus, teach us to pray. And he comes and he teaches them, and just the first little bit of it, he says, cry out. He says, Abba, Father. Cry out with this casual intimacy with God. God, would you hear me? And then he speaks with this reverence. Holy is your name. Hallowed is your name. So friends, today, may you walk with a casual intimacy with God, and may you revere his name. Whoa, halfway there.